I'm Dakota.
My name is Darren.
My name is Jacondra.
Sam.
Nicholas Costanzo.
Christy Weigel.
Wayne Baldwin.
Democracy is a government chosen by people.
The main idea of a democracy is that the people should have equal say in who runs the government and what the government does.
I have no idea.
I think a democracy means that people get a say in who is representing them in government.
It's where people can vote for their leader.
I don't really know.
A democracy is where people's voices are heard individually and collectively.
To me, a democracy is not really a thing, it's kind of like a trust.
Democracy is where people get to have a say in who represents them in their government.
Not very good.
I mean, I was born into this freedom. I've always lived in a democratic country, so I don't really know what it would be like without a democracy.
It would have no order. It would just have a small group of people with a lot of power.
I think it would probably be oppressive, that I don't think then the government would necessarily speak for people.
Probably turn into a dictatorship.
It'd be kind of like in the Lord of the Rings where like Sauron is like, he's like the dictator of like, and he's getting everyone to do their bidding, but you can't really like overthrow someone. So I thought a democracy would probably just end up turning into a dictatorship.
Without democracy, I think we would not have a lot of the rights and freedoms that we have.
Probably not very good. It'd probably be chaos. I was going to say organized chaos, but far from organized chaos.
I think those who have power would abuse it and lord it over those who are weaker or poorer.
It would definitely, I think there's lots of models in the world today that tell you what it would be like without a democracy. And we certainly see them a lot in the Middle East, where you have a dictatorship and people don't have a say in their government. Consequently, rules are made by others for you, and you have no say in that. And to me, that is really unfortunate.
Too lazy, no interest, are unsure of what these representatives actually do, or they're just too lazy. They don't want to.
I think that most people don't vote because they're not really educated on why they should vote, why their votes are important. And
Because people don't really care. Like, they live in Canada, which is a pretty good country in tons of aspects, and so they don't really want change. So they're not motivated to go to vote.
First reason is just laziness, and then I think other people are just uneducated. And there's also so many people in Canada who don't speak English, and since they're new to the country, they might not feel as a part of it. They might not feel that they need to voice their opinion.
I don't think they're aware or they know that their one vote out of the thousands would matter, or the hundreds of thousands would matter, so they go, oh, I'm just not feeling it today. I'm not gonna go. Watch reruns instead.
One of the obvious reasons is because like most people would think, okay, well it's just like a couple people probably won't vote, like it's fine if I'm not voting. I think people don't vote because a lot of times none of the parties represent what they want, and so they just think, why bother? Also probably they just don't think they have to.
Because people think that their vote doesn't count, and even though it does, everyone has a say.
I think part of the problem is, especially for voters out west, we feel like the election's already been won before our votes are even counted. So I think that sometimes the ridings aren't fairly distributed, so the populations aren't, so that we don't feel we're not as fairly represented as some of the places out east, maybe.
I think there's a lot of voter apathy just because people are unaware, or they don't think that their one vote will make a difference. So I just think that it's just not convenient, it's not important, I guess.
It's very frustrating. Like, I get frustrated every time I see those numbers because as an educator, I think that we we do a great job of educating young people. I think young people do a great job of getting out and voicing their opinion. I take it upon myself to get every family member I can to vote. It's very important because without that, when you have such low numbers, then you have a disconnect between the people that govern you. And oftentimes, if you don't vote and you're frustrated by government decisions, then you have a part to play in making sure that you select someone that represents your voice, and you have a responsibility to do that.
Like if you got enough people to vote, like if you had enough people, you could really like sway the votes, but people just don't really think they have the power to do that, so it just kind of prevents them from wanting to vote.
I'm busy that day. There isn't a candidate I would want in office.
I don't pay attention to politics because my country is okay already.
Transport? Hard to get there? Disinterested?
I forgot. You know, I just didn't remember. Or I don't like any of them, so I'm not going to vote. Or what difference does one vote make?
The parties that a lot of people would probably go for never win because the system does not allow that to happen. So we have a two-party system in Canada, essentially.
Oh, I didn't know about it, or I didn't know who to vote for. I was working. I didn't get time to it. I'm busy.
I don't have a car. Well, government could give the people candy once they get there.
I don't think politicians should make all these promises that they know they can't keep. And so if they stick to one or two that they know they can, then people would believe them and maybe vote more.
They could show them what kind of an impact their vote makes.
Obviously what they're doing now isn't working. Like they do ad campaigns and they're like in front of YouTube videos and people just skip over them.
I think they should inform people of what their vote does, like why it's important that you vote.
The opposite of what they're doing now.
Give them cars.
I feel like they should pump it up, like make things positive, you know? Like freaking vote for us, free ice cream, or like instant streaming on Netflix. I don't know.
Get fined if you don't vote. And the difficulty with that, though, of course, is that people just go out and write something on a piece of paper and stick it in the ballot box or on the electronic machine, and they don't care what they...
A radical idea would be to do like they do in Brazil, where if you don't go to vote, you receive a ticket.
Absolutely make some sort of financial, like they could do a tax write-off or some sort of incentive for voting. Make it just really positive that there's something for it, just encourage people to vote.